looking.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Darachat. I know, it's Labor Day, right? I shouldn't be doing one, but as I stated earlier, I did have a guest on, but it wasn't until yesterday he told me he was sick with the C-19, the COVID. Ooh, and of course, someone falls sick. That's fine. That's life. I'm like, all right, well, we'll schedule for another time. Hopefully, I'm able to schedule for another time because the I'm as much as I'm trying to reach across different people, I'm also trying to reach across. Trying to reach reach around. No, I'm trying to reach across many different platforms too, and so I've reached across to YouTube, of course, and Twitch, and then so much others. But for right now, he was a kick only person. So hopefully one day, sometime I can get him back on because he seems like a really nice that guy, gamer of sorts, and all that jazz. So yeah, I know I flub up, right? Like me no English good sort of thing. Me no English good. But however, even though he is sick, there is still a show, and I still appreciate all coming. I know, right? It's he just told me yesterday, and then I title "How Sick is Sick." So I was like, why not? Why not? Why not do that? Why not say, hey, this is the show, titling it, sick. How is sick is sick? Because I mean, technically, how sick is sick, right? Is it so sick that when you can't walk anymore, are you sick or you just crippled? There's a difference there. I get so many people saying things at me. He called us a cripple. He called us a cripple. All I said was the word cripple. I don't know what more you want from that. Ah. But anyway, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Yes, it is Labor Day. Yes, thank goodness it is a day I can relax because I do have to go back to work tomorrow. So I know it's a slice of life. But hey, this week is going to be filled with some awesome people and a rescheduling. Of course, as I said last week, Miss Akuma could not make it, but this Saturday, uh, hopefully upon hope that she will, and we'll get to have a fun time there. So this week will be jam packed, of course, except for today. The guests could not make it because they felt sick, and that is okay. There's always another day, another time, and there, like I've said before, there are many of people who I've asked and had conversations with, and sometimes they say, "No, I can't do it right now," or whatever. You just say, "All right, I'll be back later at a different time," and that's what I do. And that's what I do. I think that's a hospitable thing to do anyway, because if your guest can't make it, you just go, all right, that's fine, whatever. Um, and you hope it leads to another time that they'll come on, because there have been times, I will say this, there have been times where someone has felt sick, whatever, a few times. I will say maybe 2 or 3 times this has happened. Someone has felt sick or ill, and I cannot get them back I cannot get them back to schedule anything at all for the life of me. And maybe it's my job to be persistent or something that matter, but it does happen where someone just says, I can't make it. I'm feeling ill. And not saying everyone, not saying everyone. Don't harangue me on that. I'm just saying there have been a few people who have felt unwell or felt sick, and they ended up not being able to schedule again for some odd reason, for some weird reason, right? Whether it be life, whatever. I'm not gonna name whatever it could be. I'm just saying life happens. Sometimes you just have to suck it up and go with it. And that's all right. That is okay because I can handle a show by myself because I get to see all of you. And of course, people who chat in the chat. Now, if you're not chatting in the chat, that's fine. I don't, it's not that bad of a deal. When I first started out, right, I had barely anyone. I had barely anyone. I had maybe like myself. That's what we would count as watching. I'd be watching myself on both ends, like doing something wrong. But no, it just started out with just me, and then it grew into, hey, masculine, it's nice to see you again, sir. I got to get you back on. I do apologize for not asking you back again. It's been a lot of people again. Oh, we'll get to, there's something I want to say, but finishing off the point. I started out with nothing, and I've gotten here, and I know a lot of people complain. How can I build on Rumble, or they don't have an algorithm, whatever, or it's unfair. What I'm just like, I started from nothing. I had no algorithm. I've never been picked for the partnership program. I've never been on the editor's pick. I've never been on any of that stuff. Rumble has not shined its green light down on me and said, hey, there's this guy over here. No, it's been through many other people that I've connected with. Tomby, Mr. R, Masculine, UB Legend, just people bit by bit by bit. And so many people I've connected with that helped build me to where I am. Not Rumble, not YouTube. Well, sort of YouTube, because I do kind of use their algorithm for the shorts. But that's a different thing. That's a different thing. I have not had the spotlight shown on me by any platform at any point, and I'm here for some odd reason. I'm able to make a show about nothing. This is basically Seinfeld at this point. It's a show about nothing. But the point of the matter is while I get their complaints, right? While I get with these people saying, "Oh, I can't build over there. Oh, I can't do this over there." Just understand, Rumble. I would rather compare Rumble to where YouTube was at its 11th year in, right? Like, because Rumble is at its 11th year from its beginning. Of course, as we know, YouTube started in 2005 and was bought by Google 2006, 2007, and then Rumble, of course, started in 2013. Now, if you were to look at old pictures of Rumble when it first started out, totally different. It's a balderdash of a thing. Now it's gotten more, it's gotten better, all this stuff. People still complain here and there, but that's fine. We want to build this platform to be better, and that's why I stream to both platforms as well, to show off Rumble a bit, because I understand the complaints of, right? I understand, oh, I'm not getting seen enough. Oh, there's You just need to make it look like YouTube and work like YouTube and all that stuff. It's like that's not how it works though. That's not how any of this works though. It's gonna take time to get there, and I appreciate all people busy rebuilding. Oh man, that sounds awful. We had a few weeks ago, and we're happy to come back on Summer's Love Fun. Yeah, yeah. No, you're always welcome to come back, and hopefully things get better. Flooding is awful. I've the only thing because I live in Indiana, right? The only closest thing we ever got to something of flooding was when Katrina came around, and that was a lot of water coming up from that. We just kept getting the tropical storm stuff, and Katrina was a monster, and it was what it was, unfortunately. However, um, yeah, that's as close as we got. But anyway, back to the point. But again, that's where the Dara's Hangout Den, and I'll get to that in a second. But that's where stuff like the Dara's Hangout Den, and of course Rumble Squared coming in November. I'll get a date to everyone by either the end of this month or next, because it really is just picking a date for it. Everything else is sort of minuscule until we get to the point. But yeah, where was that? Yes. So I understand. I understand frustrations with Rumble. I understand this is not working. The app, TV stuff, lots of things. But I'm going to compare it to where YouTube was at 11 years ago. I don't know where YouTube was at 11 years ago. I don't barely remember that. I just remember, 56K. You could barely watch any video at all. It was a mess. It was a massacre. So, but anyway, getting back to a point that I had made and then forgot and then brought back, and then I was like, hold on, I got to get to this point first. I was like, hold on. But anyway, over the weekend, hold on, I get my shoe. I put one shoe off. Over the weekend, I was talking to. I had asked the question of, do people use Telegram, that sort of thing, and I was trying to think about making a. I'm watching VTB. Yeah, no. Some people, there's still some things that are complained on, but it is what it is. What was that? Yeah. So I was thinking about the Telegram thing, like making a private, just as privacy, because Discord, okay, great, but it's not really good for privacy of like doing, whatever. But then I was like, I had talked to some other people or what have you, and then I was like, well, I've not, I was thinking of a place where doing something where I've had people on previously, guest wise, and just having a place where all those guest people could come together. Sort of, it's a bigger version of Dara's Hangout Den, which is just with 4 people. That's including with myself, and it was just a big place for people to come and talk without having to be on the show. For all there having to be a show to do it, right? So I made a community thing on Twitter X over the weekend, and not everyone has joined. Not everyone who was invited joined. Obviously, it is a choice. I'm not going to force anyone or harangue them for it, but I've been grateful for all the people I've been able to meet, and for them to come and join that when they didn't have to. They didn't have to at all. I'm very grateful. So it's 61. I don't know how many I sent out. Some joined. Some said, "Oh, thanks for the invite," and never joined, and that's fine. Let them do what they do, and they probably on to other people's things as well. But I made it because I wanted there to be a place for all the guests that I've had on to come together to just converse about whatever. Yes, no, I saw that. Thank you for that, masculine. You didn't have to, but I appreciate it, and so did the other people. But there are some who didn't join. There are some who don't have a Twitter X, so I can't invite them on there. And was at least one I got blocked by, which was weird. Which is sort of, I thought the conversation we had with each other went great. I've already named that person in the community thing, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm very grateful for the 61 that have joined it. I'm hoping to, as we go forward, that every guest who comes on is able to join. Will they? Don't know. Volunteer thing. But whoever does join, you get to converse with all the other people that have been on the show. Whether you've met them or not, uh, is up to you. But I digress. It is a place of making a connection and having a conversation about whatever. Yeah, there are some stipulations rule wise, but you kind of need to make them because people don't know how to behave themselves. Obviously, we talk about being an adult, but a lot of people don't know how to be an adult. There's that weird thing. So there are some rules. For right now, it's only three. There may be more, but it's mostly just to cover bases. Like, hey, you can't be doing this. I made I made one that seemed ridiculous, but I mean, you never know. So just post that there. But yes, there is Hangout Den on Twitter X will be for people who come on the show. And if you would like to be a part of that community, well, there's a step for that, and that is coming on Darachat. And Darachat, if no one knows, is free. Well, I describe it as it's a free flowing conversational show where the conversation itself is the topic. Maybe once in a blue moon I've brought a topic, or maybe the guest has, but the point of the matter is that it's a conversation that can go anywhere, and that's all it needs to be because you have already 50, 60. What you have so many content creators, talking about the news of the day. You have so many content creators talking about this and that, and that's fine. We can do that. It doesn't matter. The point of the matter, though, is going beyond that step and just going wherever. I know a few may do the free flowing stuff, and that's fine. I didn't know before, but now I do. However, for me, this is a place about connecting other people, and yes, a big chunk of them are creators. But at the end of the day, though, it's all I can connect to and get on. Some of them aren't creators, and that's great. Darachat is for people who are creators or non-creators alike, whether big or small, and that's okay. So we'll see how far it goes. This week will be filled with a bunch of people that once you become a guest on Darachat, and of course it'd be nice if you come on more than once. However, uh, once is all you need. You'll be able to have access to all those wonderful, amazing people. Whether you agree with them or disagree on them, that's up to you. But this is a place we're having a conversation with because I think we really need to get back to that, to having a conversation just about whatever, because we're really disconnected, we're really disjointed. And yeah, partially could be blamed on technology, but technology has allowed me to come to you guys and say, hey, you guys, what's going on? And just have a fun time with it. So, yes, that was made over the weekend, and I'm looking forward to all the guests I'll have this week. And of course, if you didn't see, I haven't filled out the rest of it. But other than the guest today, which I will erase that because I don't want the confusion to be there. Oh, hold on, I gotta write. I gotta at least write that number date down. Hold on. Oh, I've got to erase August too. Um, Other than that, this is what I have so far. These are all the things I have. Now I have to fill out the rest of it because I haven't. I was gone for the weekend, so I didn't really think about it. And yeah, so there's that. And of course, the rest of these will be filled out. But again, this is the calendar so far. I gotta get this off too. This is the calendar so far, and these are the people that are coming on. Hopefully, they'll be able to make it, because you never know. Life throws you a curveball sometimes. But at the end of it, I'm looking forward to all of them, and I will fill out the calendar the rest of the way. It's not. What's interesting? Excuse me. Um, I'm still going out there. I'm still asking people to come on. Pretty much my calendar is filled except for maybe a day or two. And then next month, there's some people I'm going to ask to come on because they couldn't this month. So it is what it is, right? You throw out you throw out your line. You say hello, hello, and then if you hear nothing back, you just reel it back in and throw it somewhere else. And so far, it's working. Don't know how long it'll work, but hey, I've got a big enough pool to draw from to have a show every day, so it's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal, and I have enjoyed all the shows I've had people on. Um, it's an amazing time. It's an amazing time. But yes, the Dara's Hangout Den is stipulated on being a guest on the show first. That's the qualifications, right? Well, then following the rules in it, but being a guest on Darachat is a must if you want to be a part of that. I know some content creators, they do ask for a pay, or you go to like a pay, like was it Patreon? You pay for a tier, and then you get the code to go into Discord and all this stuff. I don't do that. Discord, I've heard too many horror stories. I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna do that. So no worries there. I do have a Discord, but that's mostly just for DMing, so that's all it'll ever be. I did try to build a server channel, but it just became a emergency contact point because my first account by Twitter X decided to get suspended for no apparent reason. So much for that free speech right there. But yeah, what was that? Oh, I had something. But yeah, I again have enjoyed all the people I've had on, and I look forward to all the people I will have on. Doesn't mean they'll all be successful, but at the end of the day, though, you get to see all these wonderful people and maybe their faces, and get to have something that I didn't see from other content creators, and it kind of needs to. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Spaces and probably coming soon. I would probably do Spaces as a special ordeal. Okay, they are coming. Okay, I would only do Spaces for the Dara's Hangout Den, nothing else. It would be an exclusive for that, because you kind of it's that whole content creator thing. You kind of have to give a little something extra to something extra area, and you're just like, so I'm gonna do it on the way I want to enjoy to do it. Is it a bit restrictive? Possibly, depends on the person. But I do believe if you want more people to come, if I want more people to come on the show, right, then it makes, I would hope it's a bit more attractive, but what do I know, right? I'm just here. I'm just enjoying this thing that I've been having fun with, and why not? Why not? And yeah, it's a fun time. But who knows? Who knows? Right now, Dara's Hangout Den, the only stipulation is you have to be a guest on Darachat. And whether or not the people I've had on as guests will join it is up to them as well. So I probably have maybe 49 different people who haven't responded, or some can't respond, all that stuff. It is what it is. So, but here's to all the people who did, and to the future of it. I look forward to. But yeah, let's get to what talking about nothing for the past 20 minutes. But yeah, let's get to the thing of how sick is sick. Now, of course, this is in relation to my guest. Nothing on the guest, just the manner of what he is sick with, the COVID or C-19, as the kids call it. Ooh, ooh. So I'll give a personal story on my manner of it. I've only gotten it once, and it wasn't like I didn't get any fever, didn't get any like anything big or whatever. I wasn't on my deathbed is basically what I'm saying. However, I did feel fatigued. I did lose my ability to taste, which was awful. Oh goodness, it was awful. When you lose your ability to taste something, it just makes the world colorless. You know what I'm saying? Like you just go and bite an apple and it's like it's just nothing. Um so yeah, that wow. But I do know for most people that they stayed in bed, they laid down, all stuff. I did the opposite. I did the opposite. So when I wasn't feeling well, well, dry cough. I had a dry cough. Um, what was it? I had a dry cough. I was fatigued. I lost my taste. All this stuff. What I did was I just worked out. I didn't know I had COVID at the time, so I wasn't gonna say I have COVID. But I did. I didn't stay put down. My thought was right, and this is just me. My thought was I'm either gonna let it win or I'm gonna beat it. And it took me about a month. It took me about a month to get over it. Well, it took me about a month or change to get my taste back, which was awful. But it took me about a month to get over it, and I didn't. I went to work out. I made sure to clean the machines off when I was done with them, so don't worry about that. Goodness sake. But I made sure to get. Oh, I didn't say live now, did I? Whoops! I forgot something. Hold on, give me 1 second. I forgot to say. I forget to say live now. Um, for my stuff. Okay, hold on. And done. There we go. All right, now I'm not. Now I forgot to say it. What? Silly me. Um, what was that? But yeah, so I was working out. I was trying to stay active. I would still have a dry cough. It'd make it. It wouldn't make it hard to breathe, but it'd make it difficult to keep going at such a high level. But I still walked. I still worked out. I still tried to keep myself active because, again, my thought was I'm either gonna let it win or it's gonna beat me. And so I just tried to fight it the best way I could, drinking lots of fluids, staying active, not eating any of the big bad food stuff, the bad foods, the devil foods. Um, and so I did that for a while, and again, it was just one time. If I ever experienced it again, I didn't experience like the um, loss of taste, but then again, it could have just been like a regular cold. But regardless, that was my mindset going forward about it. And that's been my mindset ever since. Like you want to, you want to be in a position where yes, you need to take rest. I'm not speaking against it. Get enough rest. Don't stay up late. Don't do all those stuff. But don't play the game of if I stay in bed all day, if I don't move, it won't matter. And um, for me, being active and drinking lots of fluids worked. Don't know if it worked for you, but I'm just sharing my experience. And so when he told me about it, it was kind of bummed. Then he told me he lost his sense of taste. I'm like, I've been right there with you, Scout. I've been right there with you. But it is what it is, and you take your strides at times of people not showing up. Hence last week with the Pay It Forward stream and all that, or uh, when I guess what's been another time, or they couldn't make it, or whatever, or they felt sick, or they were it's a whole bunch of stuff. But at the end of the day, only a few people have done that so far. But it is what it is. I continue onward. I trek upon the Silk Road in the dust and muck, and here I stand still. But yeah, I've never been deathly ill. I mean, I guess chicken pox as a kid wasn't a fun time, but once you have it, I do know that supposedly uh, it's better to get chicken pox when you're younger because if you get it as an adult, you have a higher risk of fatality, or at least that's what I'm told. I could be wrong. Um, what else? And so I think that's been the only time I've really been sick. There have been times I've wanted to, toss my cookie, so to speak, but I've never been one for one to throw up. It's not a fun time, especially when you upchuck to a point that you start to feel what actual dizzy is. Um, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're pale. So that's when you know it's been a bad time. But I digress. Um, Sometimes you need to be sick in order to fight worse things or have antibodies for worse things or just some other factor of just taking the time for rest. There's nothing wrong with taking rest. I just was just mentioning what um, I had gone through with C19. Now, I don't think I've ever had the flu, but I've also not been in a position to be like, you know, being in the worst conditions ever. Doesn't mean I haven't. Obviously, conditions of stuff like uh, not washing hands, or it was another thing too. Is I washed my hands a lot during that time. Not like to the extreme, but a lot enough. I didn't do hand sanitizer though. I was like, that's not really worth it. Hand sanitizer for me is a sort of great in a quick pinch, but washing your hands off is better because you're getting rid of what's on your hands rather than just sticking some hand sanitizer on and sticking it to your hands. Now, of course, there's rubbing alcohol in it. I've seen the people who pour that stuff in their hands and light it. True story. Or make some of their mural and then just like that too. However, it's really just sticking whatever it is that's on your hands to your hands. And for me, I'd rather just wash my hands off and go from there because, yeah, it, it's just a thing. It's just a thing up here. I'm not a germaphobe. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like I say, ew, germs. Oh, you're unclean. You're all unclean. I'm not gonna do that. But there you go. I don't get sick much, and I attribute that to biting my nails. See, now that's just silly. Now that's just, you don't attribute that. Good for you, Mr. R. Good for you. Dad, how do you not get sick? I chew my nails. Um, don't worry about it, kids. Yeah. That's a new one. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I don't. There've been a few times where I've wanted to throw up, but I don't think I've ever been in a position where I've really been sick. Um, it's oh look, it's hey Steve, how you doing? No, you mean hail Santa? Come on. Oh my gosh, just some people going over there. It's on my nail beds. Yeah, I've seen what happens when people uh, you know, you know, finger cut them or whatever. They go down to the nubs and they look like they've been working in the dirt all their lives. I've seen what it looks like. It's not a pretty thing. Um, but yeah, it's a weird thing to be, um, on the sickness level. But yeah, I've just never, I've just never really been sick in the sense of, like, going to the hospital, sort of sick. Um, I've just been stay at home in bed, sort of sick, or the ones you make a call on. I'm not feeling well. I'm not gonna be able to come in today. Huh. There's 6 days. Thought I'd come say hi before I go die. No, don't go die in bed. Go to sleep in bed. That's not what you do. If you're gonna die, at least make it. Do like a some sort of trick or something, like a key. What is it? Evil Knievel sort of thing, right? Just jump off a ramp over 20 buses. If you make it, great. If you don't make it, well, people will treasure you as a martyr, and your name will be etched in stars forever. And then people say, "Who is this Evil Knievel guy?" He just sound like he was crazy. Um, but yeah, being sick is not fun. Of course, no one wants to be sick. But not being active enough, I feel kind of leave. Sorry. Trying to clear my head. Die, sleep. What's the difference? Well, one you wake up from, one you don't. That's the difference. That's the difference. What's the difference? You wake up with one of them. Ah, dang it. I hear. Well, let's leave it this way. I hear Canada offers the final solution. If you get my gist, I'm waking underneath. Um, now I've been banned for life. No, it's yeah. I wouldn't. I know people say I'm so deathly ill. It's like, are you still alive? Yes. Are you still moving? Yes. Are you still able to talk? Yes. Then you're not deathly ill. You're just sick. Ah. Yeah, keep trying. But how can you be sure? How can you be sure you're alive when you're awake? Look, this is not going to go down a matrixy lane, Steve. All right, it's been a while since you've been here. Don't try going down this philosophical, metaphorical something lane. All right, we're all gonna get crazy over here. Okay, goodness sake. Next thing you know, he's gonna ask me, but why is sky blue? Why is Earth round? Okay, hold off there, Tiny Tim. Okay, hold off there. This is gonna feel like Q&A for the masses. Um, how to can I be a successful content creator? Um, I don't know. Try something. Shall I like blow up a balloon full of dynamite? I am leery of that, so I would say no for legal reasons. But hey, if you watch MythBusters, you never know. Um, uh, but the irony of it is that no, I don't support dangerous stunts or stuff. You may do it at your own risk, but only because you have taken on that risk, knowing full well you could die. So do not follow my advice and do not do dangerous stunts because I said something funny about stunts. Um, just hope you don't get the violent fart sickness during stream. Hey, hey, it's a violent burp syndrome sickness, not violent fart sickness. All right. If I had the violent farts, I would just toss them onto the microphone like, "Hold on, guys." I'd be I'd be canceled within a minute. Um, what do you do all stream? You know, I made a joke about farts, right? And all of a sudden, he sticks a microphone to his butt, and I'm hearing, oh, oh, no, it should be like something like that. Oh man, what I do? What I do? Oh my goodness! What is it? You're just farting in a microphone all stream. Is that? Hey, Toasty. How are you? Good. How are you, ma'am? How are you doing? I did have. Oh, well. I mean, that's great. I don't. I've never eaten hard-boiled eggs. I've not been one for that. You know, hard-boiled eggs to me is sort of meh. I know some people like it. Like it's like take they can hard-boil an egg, put it in cold water, take it with them for lunch, and it's not messy. But for me, I like scrambled eggs. I'm not. I'm not one for what is it? I'm not one for sunny side. I'm not one for over easy. I'm not one for that looks like Jacob's ladder just dripping down. No, I'm scrambled eggs only. All right. I've never been hard boiled, soft boiled, never been any of that. I've just been scrambled only because it's just not just doesn't interest me, right? Like I've been in a position where I've had those type of eggs. Well, it would be sunny side up or runny. Fried is king. I've seen fried. Fried it looks all right, but I've never tried it. But um, I do like scrambled more, just because it's sort of the thing. Well, all the egg and yolk are mixed together. It's all one. You put a little butter on it, a little salt. I've done a little salt. Yeah, yeah, I've never had fried. Yep. I've done a little salt, mostly just like I think I like the pink Himalayan salt. Um, but I've also done like Italian seasoning in it, which isn't it's basic. Yeah, it is basic. So what? So what if it's basic? I like basic. I eat hot dogs without any condiments on. What you gonna say now? Huh? Huh? He's a heretic. It should have ketchup on it. No, a hot dog or brat should have whatever I want on it, and that's nothing. Well, I will say this: I will make an exception for chili without beans. That's what I make an exception for. I will make an exception for chili without beans, but that's it. And that's more of the Hormel chili because you can get Hormel chili without beans. And there's a thing too, right? Mustard and relish, heathen, heathen. You're a heathen. Get out of my house. No, you're fine. I my sibling would make Hormel chili without beans with sour cream. No condiments, condiments. Condiments. No, you don't. No, Steve, no. See, this is what happens when you talk to someone with the UK. They mix up words and they make it sound like something wrong. No, condiments. Condiments. The little relishes. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Relishes. Hormel with beans is. Yeah, I get that. It's just not my cup of tea. It's just not my cup of tea. Hey, what up, Mr. Richard? Looking forward to you this week. Looking forward to the time we'll spend together this week. If I say it that way, it's just going to sound a little weird. I'm looking forward to you this week. That just sounds like, that doesn't sound like, I think I may not want to be on the show. No. Anyway, about the Hormel chili thing. My sibling would get a can of Hormel chili without the beans, right? There's Hormel chili with beans and without beans. I prefer without beans, just like I prefer actual chili without beans, right? I know there's a state in the U.S. that makes it without beans. I like my chili without beans. I do like a little spice, right? I can handle medium, and then anything after that is just like, no, no, it's okay, Steve. That's what I enjoy you having here. You, Abe, Tomby, all of you English blokes, I enjoy having you here. But yeah, I don't like, you know, chili with beans. Never have, never will. They always put kidney beans. They always put kidney beans in chili. I don't know why. I don't care why. I don't enjoy it. I want a meaty chili. You could put pork in it. You could put bacon in it. I don't care. You could put ground beef in it. I don't care. Isn't there a dish in Indiana area that's spaghetti and chili? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I mean, a pizza place possibly, but uh or you could be thinking of spaghetti with meat sauce. That could be what you're thinking about. But but yeah, I would take a meaty chili. I would take whether it be with beef, whether it be pork or chicken. It doesn't matter. Ooh, shredded chicken chili. Ooh. Oh, I just thought of that one. But I'm not a bean person with it. Like I don't like refried beans. I will say this. The only bean uh well, what do you say, Mr. Richard? I'm doing good. Took a week long stream back to refocus on my mental health. I'm thinking about taking the first. Do it. Whatever, whatever best suits you, do it. Because your content creation should be out of the enjoyment of doing it. Not because you're gonna make money off it, not because you're gonna get this or that off it. Content creation should be about having fun with it. And that's from my perspective. Don't take my perspective as holy word, but that's just my perspective. If you're not having fun with your content, figure something out. Because I know people get burnt out or whatever. Yeah, no, thank you, Masculine. I'm not a fan of free fried beans. Now, the only type of beans I'll have is black beans, and I'll tell you why. More of a health reason, but I've put it in ways to where the black beans aren't that bad. I've done like a stew pot or whatever, but I've never been one for beans. Skyline, that's it. Yeah, I've never been for Skyline. I've not gone to it, is what I meant. Goodness. I've never been one. I've never been to Skyline, so I can't speak on it. I have heard stories, but I'm gonna wait till I can go to one. I know there's some in like Indianapolis, whatever, but that's neither here nor there. How do you feel about boiled beans? I don't think I've ever had them. I don't think I've ever had. I've had honey roasted. Those are fine. I've had Bavarian nuts like pecans or walnuts. I like walnuts more. I like the Bavarian walnuts more. I've had cashews. I love cashews. Good Lord, I love cashews. I've had mixed nuts, which is a Brazil nuts. I don't like Brazil nuts. One wrong move and you're choking on it. Same with peanuts, but I like regular peanuts. I like unshelling the peanuts because you get the salt and that's great too. Um, I did go to my local community fair to get a blooming onion. Hey, awesome! Local community fairs are great. I went to the state fair in Indiana a while back, but it's been a while. It's a money thing. It's a money thing. Money and time. And I'm doing this and all this stuff. So yeah, I just I've already been to it once. if I were to go again, it'd be more like a show and tell sort of thing. But regardless, past that point, boiled peanuts taste like kidney beans. It's wild. Possibly. I know I've had roasted peanuts. Yeah, they roast peanuts. There's honey roasted peanuts, and then there's regular roasted peanuts. And I think I've had both, but I don't think I've ever had boiled peanuts. I've heard of them, but I haven't tried them. Um, Bloomin' onion. I have had the Outback Steakhouse bloomin' onion, but I've not. I'm not too big of a fan. I've had onion rings. I like onion rings more, but on a general basis, I'm not a fan of onions. And this is the weird thing, right? So here in America, they do. I mean, they do Mexican tacos in Mexico, but here in America, where I can get them, I've had Mexican tacos, actual Mexican tacos, not Taco Bell. That's a different story. But in Mexican tacos, they put a lot of onions, and it just hurts my insides. Like I just feel sick after that. Like if you were to do a small amount of onions, right? Great. Or garlic. I'd maybe take garlic or ginseng, whatever. I just can't do a big swath of onions. And hats off to you, Mexicans. You make a lot of great food that Americans like, but a lot of onions in your stuff is just not my cup of tea. Unfortunately, it doesn't sit well with my stomach. Hey, horror stream, how are you doing? Boiled peanuts is, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I think isn't circus peanuts big too, like the candy circus peanuts? I might be wrong. There's something about fair food that, yes, I will tell you this. I went to the Indiana State Fair, right? Since you already know I live in India, and they had these foot-long corn dogs. Foot-long corn dogs. Look, the fair is the only place you're gonna get weird food or big food, right? Cost a bit, don't get me wrong, but you can go to the fair. You can get corn on the cob, which I love. Oh my goodness, I I enjoy making corn on the cob over a fire rather than just dehusking it, putting it in a boil, and all this stuff. No, 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 no. If you really want to try, yes, I'm down for a fire. A corn dog foot long. Goodness, gonna make me sound like it's bad over here. I love onions. Yeah, onions aren't. I love onion rings. It's just when it's too much. When it's too much, no, I can't. I can't. It messes up my stomach. It's like the one time I drank a lot of cranberry juice. Like I drank half a cranberry juice container in a sitting. I tell you what, I was hurting. I was hurting. I would drink a half container of cranberry juice, and this is sort of the cranberry juice, ocean spray, whatever it is. Yeah, I was hurting. I still was hurting. Now, I've drunk actual non-sugared, uh, well, it's somewhat sugar, but not high sugar like ocean spray cranberry juice. It is hard to drink actual cranberry juice. Um, isn't isn't it a elote with mayonnaise? I don't do mayonnaise. I do butter. I don't do mayonnaise. Um, so if it's with mayonnaise, I don't do it. Um, but corn. So getting back, corn on the cob, right? So the best way for me to do corn on the cob is either over an actual campfire or you grill it, right? I've seen some people do it. So what that means is you leave it in the husk, right? You leave your corn in the husk. You take off the end bit, right? You take off that long end bit, but you leave it in the husk. And what you do is you soak it in water. Now, one of my family members had said, do like some small amount of sugar in there because it's sweet corn, right? I've heard salt as well. It is. Yeah, I don't like mayo. I've had mayo and burgers and stuff, but that was most like Burger King. But I've never been one for mayo generally, so I would get it with butter. But anyway, I enjoy doing corn on the cob over a campfire. Now, during a Memorial Day, long time ago, I we were at a camping site with I was at a camping site with my family. I had gone to was a Walmart or something like that, and I bought some corn on the cob. Sometimes it's probably a little better to buy them from a stall, whatever. But we're getting to the point. I bought a bunch of corn. I bought like maybe 12, because we had enough people there. It's enough to have two. I bought corn from Walmart or whatever, and then I think one of my parents had bought steaks, right? Or they had or it was steaks, or he had pulled ribs, or he had ribs that he was gonna use for another time. And what was it? Where was I at? He what was it? So we did that, but I did it in soaking it in the water for a while, leaving it in the husks, soaking it a while, and then we had a what is it called? It's a little grate tripod. It was a tripod, had a little grate that could be put over the fire and all that. And so that was probably maybe 15 to 20 minutes of leaving it over fire, turning it, of course, turning each dog. But oh my goodness, whether it's over a grill, shower file grill, whatever, or a campfire, you can't, I personally feel like you can't go wrong with cooking a majority of your stuff over a campfire. It just has a more natural feel to it. Not saying you have to, not saying you should. Just from my perspective, cooking over an actual campfire, if you have a tripod or if you have a grate or whatever it may be to do the cooking, it feels more natural to cook stuff over there. So when I did the corn, right, and I've done it many times after, sometimes you kind of have to judge, like, for the corn and whatnot. But oh my gosh, it was just amazing to cook it over the fire. And the corn tasted great. I do corn with butter and maybe a little salt, not too much. Exactly. A flavor of a campfire food can't be beat. No, no, it can't. I've cooked a cherry pie, like a hobo cherry pie in a Dutch oven. I've done um, I've done s'mores, obviously easy one. Hot dogs and brats are a good one. There's just something about it. There's just something about cooking over a campfire. Yes, the easier thing is s'mores and hot dogs. Hamburgers a little more complicated, but oh my gosh, cooking it over a campfire, and just think of it this way: the grease from the hamburger feeds into the fire, so you get more of that flame, so to speak. But yes, you're right, Mr. R. Nothing for me. Nothing beats food cooked over a campfire. Um, there's the there's that popcorn, right, that you can do over a stove, just over the thing. It's the smoking ash. Well, maybe I'm not one for the ash, that preferably, but the smoke, yes. And the smoke it's not like what they do for like those oven things where they put like hickory or cherry, whatever. No, it's just pine, whatever hardwood it is. But yes, there is something about cooking food over fire that just adds an extra element to it. Whether it's the doing of the process, like you are doing something in the process of ash happens. Yes, yes, it does. Just like in Forrest Gump, ash happens. Unless you want to catch Pokemon, that's a totally different story. Um, what was I at? But yes, what did you say? I remembered as you out to my local fair, my girlfriend convinced me to go on the Ferris wheel, and I had a death grip because I have a gym fear heights. Yeah, I do think there's a point where you kind of have to laugh about it, but for me, I'm in the same boat. I'm not one for heights. Um, I maybe I can do it if I get used to it, but there was a what was it? There was a Civil War memorial in Indianapolis, and it's you can go take a lot, an elevator up and see the city and whatnot. Um, but I remember being a very tall building, getting to go to the top tall building, and just getting to enjoy the sights of height. Right. So there is a difference between maybe the Sears Tower where they have that box and go out and you see the bottom, you see straight down. No. However, if you have something, say like New York, where it's a fenced-in area, you don't get to look straight down. You get to look out. If you don't look straight down, you're fine. If you look straight down, you're not fine. But if you look out, you're fine, right? You get a distance sense. But if you look down, it's like a vertigo, and you're just like, it's not a fun time. So I'm right there with you. But you get a perspective that you wouldn't get on the ground floor. Not saying the ground floor is bad. Not saying that all height, all being in the ground floor all the time is great. I'm just saying that at times you kind of need to go up someplace in order to um, get a different perspective. And there was a Ferris wheel at the Indian Institute Fair that was the world's biggest collapsible one, or whatever it was. And they were all AC'd, right? They were all AC'd, except one box had a glass floor. So you could pay a little extra for the VIP box, which was just a glass floor, but I digress. It was just the air conditioning was enough because it could be hot. It couldn't be hot. Um, but yeah, I've been high up. I've gone on it twice. They didn't have it the last year, but the 2 years before they did have it, so I went in that, and I'm glad I did. I wasn't too. I was sort of like, ooh, I was like, don't look down, please, dear Lord, don't look down. Oh, because I hate that. Once you look down, it's like you either get a hold of yourself or you're like, ooh, you don't look, and it's just like, please let this ride be over. Um, but yeah, I do think sometimes you have to get a higher perspective on things. It's sort of like they say, getting a getting the look of a bigger picture, because sometimes there are things that get missed out when you're always on the ground floor. There's a greatness to being on the ground floor. There's a lot of data on the ground floor. However, to get a bigger picture on where you can see where the pieces will go, sometimes you need to go a little higher. And I'm not saying make a Tower of Babel, but maybe just go up a few flights. Go to the top of the Eiffel Tower and see how the world works or looks, um, and all that stuff. Or go to the top of the Statue of Liberty and see how that world looks, because it does kind of help to bring perspective. Because if you think on a philosophical scale, right, and not just a philosophical but a physical scale, compare yourself to the rest of our solar system, right? Just do that comparison. Compare yourself to the rest of the solar system. How do you really feel now? Small, insignificant, feel like nothing's worth it? Well, great. Sometimes challenges in life, will will make you feel like it's too big to reach, it's too tall to reach, whatever. Just remind yourself of how big you are compared to the rest of the solar system, and you'll feel right at home. May not always work. Oh, okay, okay. I see. No, that's great. That's great that you can joke about it time after, because that shows that at least you can laugh at your fear a bit. When you can laugh at your fear a bit, it doesn't um it doesn't matter as much, or it doesn't affect you as much, or it doesn't have as much power over you. Some fear is granted because you could end up dead and you want to do your safety checks, like all the stuff you hear in OSHA incidents and whatnot. You really want to have a healthy sense of fear, but there is a unhealthy sense of fear. And so I still am not a fan of heights. I will just say that outright. I'm not a fan of snakes either. Not a fan of them. However, at a certain point, I will deal with the heights more, with the snake thing more. I just don't care. Um, but yeah, heights I can understand, and if you can joke about it a year after, you're great. You're good. That shows that you're at least willing to ha 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 ha, all that stuff. But yeah, I think at times we kind of need a big picture moment. And when you feel like the challenge is too big, when you feel like there's no other options, no other way, compared to the solar system, you are nothing. You are nothing. So your problems are small. So your problems are small. It's like, I don't know why this seems so big to me. If if a person who's last year I went to Boston. Okay. He says, last year I went to Boston and I had my head on a swivel at all times because it's a big city. Oh, yeah, big city. I was to Chicago, right? So I went to Chicago a long time ago. I haven't gone since, because Chicago, right? I went to Chicago a long time ago because I wanted to go to the Science and Industrial Museum. Now, if you've never been there, it's pretty awesome, and it's changed over time, right? Um, So it's the internet have changed, and all this other stuff has changed. So, but if you've been to the Science and Industry Museum in Chicago, you've had an opportunity to go to this great thing where it's a learning center, right, for kids and adults alike, and all this stuff. They actually are built over a old coal mine, so that you could go down and see what they used to do. And also, I've never been down there. I've never been down there. But maybe one day I'll go if Chicago gets better. Right now, it sounds like a heck hole. It sounds like a crap hole, really. Um, but yeah, it's a really fun time to go, and of course, I take a train to go there. Yeah, I enjoy taking the train. But before we go further, right? Before we go further, guys, it is the top of the hour, and of course, it's just me, right? It's just me and you. Just me and you. Just me and you here. So whether you're on Rumble and whether on YouTube, I appreciate you both. And if you wouldn't mind, right, on either end, if you don't mind liking, sharing, following the stuff, leaving a comment, one of it, all of it, it doesn't matter. Anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated because, again, I am doing this to reach to many people, many places. It's difficult, it's hard. A lot of people can ignore me. A lot of people say, look, there's that funny guy, and just walk right away, and then that's it. For me, I do this thing because I've met a lot of great people. Some people met once and they never talked to me again, or they blocked me for some weird reason. However, the point of the matter is that your help with the engagement helps me be seen more, which helps me have more people on. More people that you get to see, that you get to help be a part of, right? Again, guests who come on Darachat get to be a part of Dara's Hangout Den on Twitter X. And I'm looking forward to the many more people that will join that. So, and also, if you don't know where else I'm at, or if you'd like to come on yourself, go down to my link below. A wonderful gentleman by the name of Satian or Christian Sass, however what you want to call him. Satian is his username on uh, Twitter X and Rumble. Satian bought, at one point when he was on here, he bought a web domain and he bought Daramouthe.com. So, in a sense, I do own it, but I don't because I didn't have the money, but he bought it. I was kind of sorry, and I'll see how much it costs a year to run it. But at the end of it all, I don't know if I'll be able to pay for it, to be honest. So I'll talk to him when it comes close. But anyway, point of the matter is he bought a website with Daramouthe.com, and down below in the description, that link is there, and it just links to my link tree. That's it. It links to my link tree, which takes you to the places: Twitter X, Discord, to DM. My email, my Rumble and YouTube, all that stuff. So if you want to find out where I'm at, or if you'd like to come on, go down the link to below at Daramouthe.com. That's right. That's how you spell it right here. Daramouthe.com, which will forward it to my link tree. Go to those places, find me at, and say, hey, I'd like to come on. Or if you don't want to do that at all, right? Just say you don't want to go to the website. You don't want to do all that work. Leave a comment on either YouTube or Rumble, and we can get started. Again, guys, any help with the engagement factor and looking up the website, of course, and finding where my other stuff is at is greatly appreciated because, again, this is the hub of connection. Darachat, Dara's Hangout Den, and a future course for Rumble Squared in November, which will be more about not only talking about our concerns and celebrations of Rumble, but also to showcase it off to other places. Right now, I'm only streaming to Rumble and YouTube. Maybe one day I'll add another place, but for right now, I want to show Rumble off. The best way to have people say, oh, what is Rumble? How is Rumble? All this stuff. The best way to do it is to show it off in a visual sense because we are visual people. We watch movies for the visual and all this stuff. The story is great, but you have to visually see it, not auditorial. So, um, but yes, any help with the engagement and, of course, link down below. You guys are awesome. And I look forward to the many people this month that are going to be coming on. Of course, Mr. Richard, of course, is going to be on this week. What are you on this week? Oh, you're on Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday I get to have Mr. Rich, of course, Sounds like I haven't had him on before, so it should be an awesome time. So same as Hana Yama, Hanayama-san, who'll be on tomorrow. He's from uh, Tombi as well, and a whole sort of people this month. I'm telling you, I didn't think I would be able to fill a month with just a whole assortment of people. Is it still difficult? Yes. Is it still hard? Yes. It is hard the fact of getting people on because of scheduling stuff, right? Or, they look and say, eh. Or they'll say, hey, you know what? Maybe not now, but I'll come back at you later. And they never come back at all. Right. And that's my issues where I have to be persistent with that. Not an annoying persistence, but like once a month, hey, you said this last month. I'd like to invite you to throw the invitation your way again. Would you like to come on? And they can keep saying until they tell me no. And even then, I probably would still try. Until they tell me no, I will still try to invite them on. Why? Because until they say no, the opportunity of yes is still there. And yes, even if they say no, people change their minds. That's the whole point of keep asking. And majority of my stuff is through Twitter X. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But for right now, I do what I do, and I hope I can get all sorts of different people on that you can come find, you can come watch, and we have a great ball out of it. Because why not? Why not do this thing? Why is it so difficult that we to have just just have a variety of different people on, whether they're a creator or not. Like I think the only person, uh, few people, right? There's, I think I heard Theo Vaughn has on people who were regular folk, which is great. You should have a show on that. Or there was one time I saw Conan O'Brien. He was doing his podcast, and he did at one point do a thing where he would, hey, Alpha Zero, what up, good sir? Looking forward to next Saturday. At work, so I have to be muted. I wanted to stop by and say hi and throw down like, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And looking forward to the 14th, good sir. I look forward to being a great time. And of course, yes, that is true. Oh, wait, no, I was, dang it! Never mind. I'm just saying I'm looking forward to the 14th. That's all you need to know. I screwed that up. I apologize. I'm trying to keep things so if you're on Dara's Hangout, Dan, you already know. Now I know it's not privatized, so I mean people could look and say, "Oh, I know what's on the 14th." But if you haven't been on Dara's Hangout, then if you aren't on here as Dara's Hangout, then words right? Why aren't you? The only requisition is following the rules and being on Darachat. If you've been on Darachat and have accepted the invitation to be on Dara's Hangout, then I thank you. I appreciate you. If you've been given the invitation, why aren't you there yet? I get it. Probably on a thousand other places. Come on, guys. This is a place of meeting other people, of connecting, and all this stuff. Let's not get stuck in our circle of people that we I guess, yes, reliability, count on all this stuff. Well, let's get out the door and let's greet the world, whether it likes us or hates us. Let's greet the many faces that have the opportunity to say hello to and so many conversations. That's what I want to do with Dara's Hangout Den. And I appreciate all those who accepted the invitation. Some didn't. That's fine. That's great. I hope one day you will, because I believe it's a great time to be had. I really haven't done much with Dara's Hangout Den except, told them a few things like what's going to happen on the 14th and stuff like that. They'll get early um, they'll get early notifications, I guess, of stuff, or maybe they'll get to be a part of making rules or suggesting things, that sort of stuff. I gotta keep something special for them, right? I don't have a locals. I'm waiting for the day locals and Rumble are one instead of this separation, so that'll be a while. But yes, Dara's Hangout Den is I guess you could say it's exclusive, but it's exclusive in a way that I hope someday will promote growth and and connection and conversation with a bunch of different people, that have been on, aka my show, Darachat, and that's the requisition to come on. Uh, I know it sounds like, well, I can just pay to be on someone's Discord. That's great. Go and pay for it. Uh, Time is more valuable, and I just like a little bit of your time so that you can come on. I think that's great payment right there. Right? You can pay money. You can make return on that money, whatever. But how about a little of your time? Hmm? How about a little of your time to come on a show to chat about whatever, and you get to be a part of a whole group of people who are as human as you or I, and you get to chat about whatever within reason, and get to enjoy the connections you get to make. I know somebody will be like, "I'm on a loophole. I could do this, that, and all that stuff." But at the end of the day, There's Hangout Den is a place for connection. The same with their chat, but on a bigger scale. Because, dear Lord, having 60 people on screen, it would not work out well. Lord, no, 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 no. Um, and yeah, yeah, I appreciate it. So, but anyway, I gotta entice it. I gotta entice the people to want to come on Dare Chat so they can get in, because I do believe it will be something great. And why not? Why not? You know. But yes. What was I up for? I was talking about something. Fair food, sure. Um, Criminy, I can't remember what was that. Let's just make something up. I was talking about space in the Final Frontier. Oh boy, I can talk about whatever. Um, but yeah, I do have to keep some things. And again, I have a Discord, but it's mostly for DMing. If you don't have a Twitter X, I'm not really interested in going down the Discord route because unfortunately, one, why do I need to? Like, if I want to do this thing my way, why would I need to do the Discord thing? I know everyone else does it. Do what you want. You're a content creator. Don't listen to me. I'm a nobody too. But why do I need to do it the way you do? Right? I wanna connect with people on a base level. I wanna talk to people on a base level. I just wanna laugh with people on a base level. There doesn't need to be this whole huge requisition thing of you gotta do the 10 steps to get to me. And it's like, here, one step, you can get on here, done. Well, one step here, rules of the area here, done. That's 2 steps. You can't take 2 steps out your front door. My goodness, how many people you watched? What was that? The Santa Claus is coming to town or whatever. You know, one's foot in front of the other. That sort of thing. That's fine. That's what makes it so great is you can just chat about whatever. It is free enough that if I say something or if someone else in the chat says something, you can say, "Wait a second, I know something about that," and you can just pop it right off. And again, uh, it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to. Again, it's about the freedom to be able to just the hills are alive in the sound of music, and you can just dance around this wide plateau. If someone comes across your way and you connect on a conversational basis, done. You've done something amazing for yourself by just connecting. You don't have to give uh, money. You don't have to give all. It's just your time. That's all I ask. If you want to be on Dara's Hangout Den, you got to give some time, and that's on Darachat. That's the requirement because time is something you can't get back. And for the many people I've had on, they said they've all enjoyed it, even the ladies. Uh, Not like that. I know someone's gonna be like, "Yeah, I knew him. I don't know anymore." Oh man, I do. I have enjoyed all the nice folk that have come on, so I don't want anyone to be like, "There's only been one. There's only been one that's blocked me for whatever reason." But other than that, I have joined a lot of people, and I hope to continue it more and more and more and more and more because at the end of the day, why not? Why not? Why not? I feel like when I think about this conversational thing, right, this open, free flowing conversational thing, it feels spectacular. It feels wonderful. It feels like something that's missed out. And I look at many of their content creators and I'm like, but why? There are reasons, sure. Reliability. Can you trust the other person you bring it on? A whole host of questions you'd have to ask in order to bring them on. But me, why the heck not? Yeah, why the heck not? I'm not going to tell them to do it. I'm not going to bash their heads in and say, you got to do it. I am simply going to ask, why not? And if they have valid reasons, I accept the reasons, move on. And we have a conversation, we keep going from there. There's no point in any conversation I'm going to say, you need to do this because blah, 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 blah. No, I'll only ask the question on the basis of why not? Why not? Why not? Why does a content creator that has 1,000 different followers always seem to go for this other content creator? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had content creators on, so I get that. But I'm here for the conversational part. I've had people who aren't content creators on. I have people who are small content creators on. It doesn't matter. The point of it is you could have a person who's a content creator who has 100,000 followers. How many of them have they invited on? A year? A month? A few months? How many? It just boggles my mind. We want to talk about being past a diverseness, even in our own country. We want to talk about seeing eye to eye and being on some base level. Why not bring it to the field that matters the most? Why not use this stinking tool we call technology and platforms and all this up and say, bring it to the fold? We can disagree on things, sure. I don't care about politics. Politics is trivial to the matter at hand. Why not? Why does it always have to be the same 10 people on a list that you are used to and you want to bring on? Why is it only why is it only a certain content creator because you want to build up and go to the next level or whatever, or some politician or this or that, whatever? Why does it have to be that? Invite somebody on. It doesn't matter if they're a politician, right? Invite them on, but don't talk about politics. How would that show go, right? Whatever they are, talk the opposite. If they're a farmer, talk about music. If they're a singer, talk about farming. If they're a gamer, talk about the philosophical stances of Socrates. If they're a if they're a philosopher, I can't say the word. If they're a philosopher, why are you not talking about oceanography? Why are we so limited? Why are content creators so limited? Why do they? There is a point to limit oneself, but why limit to this world that is big and there are language barriers? Don't get me wrong, there are language barriers, but just imagine someone with 1,000 followers. Just imagine with someone small one, right? Just imagine with someone with 1,000 followers, and their aim is that they've bought on at least it. Now, obviously, maybe the 1,000 followers aren't all human, right? They're those bots, sure, or people that don't follow them, just have them subscribed and they've never watched any of this stuff. Just imagine that you have somebody with 1,000. Sorry, distracting noises. You have a person with 1,000 followers, and they're able to invite half on throughout the whole year, right? They start from January to December. They've had at least half of that. Can you imagine the connections made? Yes, at 500 people, you're not going to remember all their names. You might remember faces, but you're not going to remember the names. But the point of the matter is that no matter the person, yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, there's a lot of things that's anxiety inducing, like roller coasters. That's anxiety reducing, or talking about whatever. But I understand the sentiment. Um, but yeah, why does it feel like? I mean, yes, it's understandable if there's a certain sect of things they want to get into and they're just like, don't worry about anything else. But why? They talk, I've heard these content creators who talk about entertainment stuff. Oh, culture is downstream, policy is downstream of culture. So why aren't you inviting people who are involved in that manner? I mean, they probably have and have gotten somebody, but why? Why haven't you? Well, why is it there's no jumping across the boundary that says this is totally on the scale. This is it. I want to challenge that. I want to challenge all of it. I want to take a hammer to all of those little spheres, those niche spheres, and say, hey guys, the water's fine. A little cold, but it's fine. No alligators, whatever. I want to take a hammer to it all because I have reached a point where I can say I have had 100 different people on. Does that mean they'll all come back on? Does that mean they'll does it mean they'll even talk to me anymore? Don't know. The point of the matter is, though, as I showed, I can get 100 different people on with 100 different perspectives, some similar, some dissimilar. The point of the matter is I'm showing it is possible. I'm creating content based upon the matter of fact of just a free flowing conversation, and it's working. It's working. It's still tough, but it's working. And I'm having fun with it. I'm making shorts from these streams of these people. Like today, I was making shorts from. Now I will say there was one point where I did a more than a short. Like it's a short video, but it's not a short like 60 seconds because that's what YouTube considers a short. But I made like a 2.5 minute video or less, around 2 minute video. Because I wanted all that context together rather than just chopped up for short 1, short 2. I just want to keep all that context together. So you'll probably see that in the future. But I digress. Let's be on politics on Rumble. Just have to find it. Yes, that's what I believe too. That the recommendation engine and the personalization engine. It'll take time to get there, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And a lot of people want that to be more. But then again, Shorts is coming in fall on Rumble. And of course, I call my shorts Rumble Rush or Rumble Rushes, whatever. I call my shorts Rumble Rush because it is short and it is quick. And it's Rumble. So Rumble Rush. Beyond that scope, though, I just wanna break this cyclic thinking, my own, as including others. Now I do it more for my own because honestly I have biases and whatnot. But I want to do this thing that I'm enjoying out of. Is it time consuming at times? Sure. Is there times where I'd be like, I don't want to do this, but then I realize get the opportunity to talk to these people, no matter who they are. Do we always agree? No. But I get to talk to them. I get to chat with them. I get to spend an hour or so. Hey, welcome back. Alpha, I hope things are going well. But I get to talk to these people. Alpha Zero Gaming. Or Alpha Zero Omega Gaming, I think is his Rumble channel. I got to talk to him, and he's Australian. He has a 15-hour difference on where I live, and yet I got to talk to him. There was another Australian I was trying to talk to, but he's a busy content creator, and I only got him on once. And trying to get him on again is like pulling teeth. But I'll keep trying. There's been no. So, but I get to have on someone like Alpha Zero Gaming. I get to have on someone like Jack Tarlett and Tom B. And they're across the pond. They're 5 hours difference. I get to talk to Yarnwich, who's on the California side. I don't know, is that East Coast or West Coast? Canada's north, Mexico's south. So I would think West Coast is the Carolinas. Is it? Am I right? Is the West Coast the Carolinas or is it California? I don't remember. So I need some help and clarification. Hell, I need help, chat. What is it? It's the West. I'll let you get to it. But I got to talk to Yarnwich, and she lives in Oregon or Washington, one of the two. I apologize, Yarn Witch. I forgot. So if you see this, still love you. And she runs a yarn business. She sells different colored yarns and all this stuff. I remember that. I also remember she likes cats because she has a pet cat. Phoenix Electra. West Coast is California, Oregon, and Washington. Okay, so that's West Coast. Okay, so she's on the West Coast. Yarn Witch is on the West Coast, and East Coast is the Carolinas and New York. Okay, I got it. I'll remember that. West Coast, California. Okay, so she's on the West Coast. I got to talk to her on the West Coast. I got to talk to someone. I got to talk to two people from Alaska. The West has more states included. Okay, I can see that because there's the Midwest, and then East. Or no, maybe I'm going by mountains or mountain. Regardless, I get that. West Coast, okay, West Coast. But the point of the matter is I get to talk to these people no matter where they're in the world. I get to use this useful tool called technology, streaming and all this stuff, and I get to stream our time together. And usually get to have them back on sometime. But the thing of it is, I get to do this thing. Yeah, I haven't been there. It's quite expensive, and I do it during when it's warm, not when it's cold, because I do not want to be in Alaska when it's below 80 or negative 80. I don't want to be there. But I've gone to talk to people from Alaska, Australia, the UK, Germany. DJ Smoo. I say Dr. Smoo, and he's gonna be like, I'm not a doctor. I say, you're not much of a DJ either. Joking. I'm joking. He's a cool dude. But I get to talk to all these people. Wow. Exciting, isn't it? Well, no matter what side of the political aisle, no matter what you believe in or whatever, I can come to those people and I can say, hey, how are you doing? And just have a conversation of just about whatever. It is a miracle in its own right when you can reach across the fence, right? And you can say, I mean, I'll always agree with you, but darn tootin', we can have a conversation. And bam, just like that, something happens. A connection is made. Now, connections come and go, sure. But imagine you make a group where you've made that connection with that person, right? And the other people that have met this person, right? And they met someone within that group and they make a connection there. And it just goes and goes. It's sort of like pinging lights, like fireflies, except a lot more rapid, right? Like it's a lot more rapid flashing. Ping, 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 ping. They're just flaring up. And they, of course, you're able to come back together. You're able to have a conversation, whatever. But they've made other connections with other people within the group that you made. Just imagine that amount. Just imagine the scope of what that can do for others. What it could mean. You have communities. You have religious communities, political communities, all this stuff. But just imagine this is more on a positive scale for the betterment of. What someone takes away is up to them. But I believe in it. And that's why I keep doing this thing, because I do it partly for my enjoyment, but I also do it because I get to meet some really awesome people. Not as awesome as me, by the way, but I know when someone says, "Oh, you think you're awesome," but it's still difficult. It's not a picnic. But I enjoy it nonetheless. And yeah, I can't wait. I question on of other creators, but you know what? What they do is what they do. Content creation is their own ordeal. For me, I'm reaching for the stars and above. And there are a whole lot of people I'll be willing to take if they're interested. But that's just me. I'm a more optimistic, opportunistic person, which is a tongue tire. Yeah. I've never been one for tongue twisters. But yeah, I can't believe it. And I hope people who are in the chat like, oh, I can't believe that too. Right now, I say I've had 100 different people, and it's like, oh wow, that's pretty awesome. It's like, dang it, I gotta get there. Where when you can say, hey, I've had about 100 different people on, that's pretty awesome. It's not there yet. It's not there yet. And I guess I could say I'm greedy in that sense, right? Like I know greedy, envious, those are things you want to be aware of. But just imagine I'm greedy in how many more people I can have on, how many more connections I make. That's the greedy I'm going after. Oh baby, you better be ready for that. You better be ready with that train ticket because this train is going for a ride. If you catch my drift, and why not bring along a bunch of other people to say, hey, let's go. The trip is worth it. But hey, what can I do? I'm just here having fun with you guys, talking about whatever, and completely off of what I was saying about how sick is sick. I tried to give it a title because sick can be just about anything. Sick can be like sick, like it's cool, right? And sick can be like, oh, that's disgusting, or sick can be like, I'm bedridden. There's a whole bunch of ways to do it, and I like that openness. I like that openness when you can make something ambiguous but open enough that people can start having conversation about it rather than just be like this very you should only I feel my perspective, right? You should only be on this very specific thing if it's up in your mind and you want people to kind of flash the light on it, right? You want to flash the light on it. Oh look, everyone, there's this thing over here, and you flash the light on it. It's very specific, very indulgent. Sometimes there is that case, but I keep it more open, and we can go and we pinpoint stuff. Like when I had talked about freedom, right? When I've done there was a topic I did like just talking about freedom alone, and I talked about, okay, so what is freedom, right? Is it the ability to do or say however you want, or is it this or that or whatever? Because there are rules, right? We all need a set of rules because at a certain point, otherwise everyone's just going to end up, either kill, uh, beating everyone up or sleeping with everyone or whatever. And there's consequences to things, right? There's consequences, cause and effect. There's consequences and stuff. But for me, when I brought that topic up, I was like, okay, because it led to freedom of speech. So what is freedom of speech to the individual? And that's one of the questions I have in my hand is, what does freedom of speech mean to you? And everyone has a different perspective on it. Now, some will say, "Oh, it's 1A. It's the First Amendment." Okay, well, that's great. That's a thing. But what does it mean to you beyond that scope, right? Because what I'm trying to do, and this is the secret behind the curtain, right? Not the secret, but it's like the glimpse behind the curtain. What I'm trying to do is when I ask somebody what does the freedom of speech mean, I'm trying to dilute it down to its most purest form. Because there is something to agree on and there is something to disagree on, and that's great. But there are probably more similarities of what people think freedom of speech is rather than the dissimilarities. And that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to the context into its purest form. What does, in that, I was like, what does freedom of speech mean to you? Or what does it mean? Or whatever. And I got to a point where my thing was, on the basis of freedom of speech alone, freedom of speech is that one cannot make you say, or no, since it's freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech is one cannot make you say or not say something. And this is not just on the freedom of speech alone, not just on freedom, but on freedom of speech alone. One cannot make you say, you can say, but one cannot make you say stuff, right? One cannot limit your ability to speak. Now you could say, well, what about libel? What about defamation? What about stuff? Well, there were rules made after the fact, but even then, well, here's my question too, right? Could it not be agreed to upon in some degree that, in essence, libel or defamation can also be considered free speech? Yes, you can defame someone. Yes, you can libel someone, and that can hurt them or whatever, or make up fake claims, like all that stuff. But is it not in essence a free speech? Because then we're yes, there's the diluting. From freedom is free speech. There's an action from freedom is a whole bunch of actions, is like an umbrella for actions, and freedom of speech is one of them, right? In order to be able to think, one must be able to speak. Yes, and one must be allowed to speak whatever without being told they can't speak nothing, right? Because that's the dilution I came to, was that freedom of speech is the allowance to speak on whatever scale, but you are not you should not be told not to speak, right? Because then that's not freedom of speech, that's denial of it. And I know this is getting on something completely different, but when I brought that up in that stream, I was trying to dilute it down to its most purest form, because there are a lot of thoughts we as human beings have, and they're more of, chafing in the wind or whatever, chafing the wind, or stuff like that. So the thing of it is trying to dilute a thought to its pure form. It's sort of like the Socrates method, which I don't know. I know exists, but I don't know what the Socrates method is exactly. So, but my thought is trying to dilute a question, trying to pose a question that will dilute the content of the conversation to its purest form. What are the disagreements and what are the agreements? And then you try to dilute them from there and find, okay, so maybe there's a small aspect of this thing, and that's what you have a disagreement on. And maybe there's something in that disagreement that is an agreement. So then you start configuring. There's this whole wide array of stuff where you just break stuff down to their most basic form. And that's interesting to me. Because why can't you? What is politics? What is geography? What is this? What is that? And break those things down in those purest forms. Because I think people do get lost in the weeds. They do. Well, they don't. I don't believe they get lost. They do get lost in the weeds. They do get lost in the chaff or whatever, and they don't. They miss. They miss things, or they speak past people and they miss things again. And it's just this whole wide array. It's not about. It comes to the I'm right, you're wrong scenario, where I know a lot of things. I know everything. Blah 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 blah. Or I know too much. Or Mr. Know It All. Or whatever. You come to a point where you're speaking past each other and not hearing each other out. Now, it is difficult to hear somebody because you are on your own bias. You are on your own basis. Oh, yeah. Have a good night, Rich. Have a good night. Sleep well and see you Wednesday. But you have your own bias. You have a basis. And this is a funny thing, too, right? Is I've seen a ton of people, right? You ever seen someone say based? Oh, that's based. Ooh, based. All this based. And I kept thinking to myself, well, that's pretty interesting. Why is someone saying based, right? Because based is the word itself is based in something. It's a pinpoint for something, or whatever. But why are there people saying based, right? Why are they saying based to this, based to that, but not based to this and based to that? And I was like, why? Why is that the case? Why are we saying it? And then I came to realize it's because it's something that they're in agreement with. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be in agreement with whatever you want. That's fine. But the reason why people say something is based, right? The reason why they say, oh, that's based. Ooh, that's based. It's because they agree with it. Now, the question is, do they agree with it on a non-biased level, or do they agree with it on a biased level, right? Like, when someone says based, are they agreeing with it because they agree with it on a whole scale, or is it because it's agreeable on a biased scale? And I've begun saying this: based, and you don't have to either. This is just me, so take it as you will. I've begun saying based is biased with an extra vowel. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yes, based was based as I saw it, or kept seeing it as, is that it's something you agree with. Oh yeah, this thing is based, or that policy is based, whatever. But is it because you are doing it in a non-biased way or a biased way? And that's the inference. Because we're all biased. Sorry to tell you, we're all biased. We all have a bias. And in agreement or disagreement with others, we are biased. And so for me, I've just begun saying based is biased with an extra vowel. Because if you see it, you see that yes, all you need is the letter I. and based, and it becomes biased. Now, how you how you place that I is going to look weird, but if you know what based and biased look like together, all you need is that extra vowel, and one becomes the other. Now, of course, that makes me look like, oh, you're biased too, but just because you put one extra vowel in it, that's what it is. This is the human language we're dealing with. This is the English language we're dealing with. I'm looking at the word based, and I'm seeing why are people saying it, and my computation or arrival upon what I'm saying is that they are agreeing with it because it agrees with them. And so we usually agree with things when it's within our circle of bias, when it sounds well within our bias. So, from that flow of thinking, based is biased with an extra vowel. That's just me, though. You can take it how you want, you can say it how you want. It does not matter. What matters is, hey, Crazy Jeffo. Hey, how you going, sir? Hey, did you see my DM? I don't think you. I think you did, but I just wanted to make sure if you saw my DM on Twitter X or not. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, well, there's a DM waiting for you on Twitter X. You didn't make me look though. I saw you. I was like, hey, there's that crazy Goffo guy who's part Irish. Yeah. Hey, macho. But yeah, that's just my thinking. Again, that's my perspective. Don't have to agree with it. You can call it a fool's dream or whatever. But again, more times I saw it, and more times it made sense. Why is we say base the things we agree with and not what we agree with? Because it can play into our bias. And that's why I say based is biased with an I or with an extra vowel. I should say with an I, but an extra vowel just makes it sound more something. Um, but yeah, it's so making a show with based on it. Yeah, I remember you saying red, white, and based. I think I remember you saying that on Putin's stream, which that was funny. Um, and look, to Putin's effort, you know what? I understand, my dude. I understand why you don't want to vote for Trump. I'm not going to convince you any way of the sorts. I'm not into the political game. Don't care. Um, but I think if someone wants to be convinced of something, then either they have the potential to go that way, or they just want to see what the group over there is going to say in order to convince them over and see if it's impressive enough for to they're going to try to see if it's impressive enough to bring them over. It's like Red Rover, right? Red Rover, send Putin bot right over. And it's like, I'm not going to come over because there's nothing over there for me to come over. This, and that. That's fine. I knew it as a conservative. Oh, base. Yeah, I'm not conservative. I know. Oh, it's going well. It's going well. It's going well, good sir. But yeah, don't forget to check your Twitter X DMs if you haven't already. But yeah, I'm not a conservative, but I get why it's said. I get why it's said. But at the end of the day, it's still a bias. It's still an agreement with your bias to some degree. But that's just me. Again, personal perspective. You don't have to take it as and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, that's how I see it. And it gets funny once I start seeing it like that. It's like I started questioning: are they saying based on a non-biased level, or are they saying based on a biased level? Then you begin to wondering, would they say based if it's against? Probably not, because it's not an agreement with them. Because you only say based. And I know I'm going in a circle. I get it. But at the end of the day, that was just my thought, and that's the saying I got out of it, and all that stuff. So whether you guys agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. It's how I think of the subject at hand, and and what it means from what I've seen. So it is it is what it is. But at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, um, you just have to figure out for yourself. Oh, thanks. I saw it, crazy. Thank you. Um, it's not always there. But yes, I truly believe that what I'm doing with this is in one to help not only break my bias about whatever in life, but also to break out of help people break out of their own biases. Because again, we could come to agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. But I'm not going to come with like a pitchfork and say you're gonna be taken out with my pitchfork and all that stuff. Because why do we need to kill over ideologies? Why? Yeah, I can guess the Sharia stuff, and I'm sure someone's going to say Sharia. But beside that one, why do we need to kill over the ideologies? Why do we need to burn each other's lives over that? Why? I don't get it. I've never gotten it. We as human beings have murdered each other for ideologies as far as back as time has gone. The first murder in human history. Why? Because we disagree upon and you want your idea to have more power than mine? There comes a time where the taking of one's life, and we're not going to go into the whole war shebang and all this stuff. We're just talking about on the scale of murder. There is a time where the weight of one's life taken will weigh so heavily that the weights of the world would not be able to even come close to it. Right? Like I would think so. Like I'm no one special. You look at I've made mistakes. I've done awful things. Not terribly awful. I'm probably more Boy Scout than anything. I've done stupid stuff. Let's just leave it there. I've done stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, though, the the taking a life brings in the question of can you do it? Now people say, well, in self-defense. Sure, I can understand that. I think we can all understand defending oneself or one's family. But when that moment isn't there, do you think it feels the same? Do you think it is the same? I don't know. I just know taking a life can be the highest of burden. The highest of burden. And some people would, in some sense, like psychopaths, people who don't. People who don't think about it. They just go on, keep going. But those who don't, who aren't like that, can you imagine that? Wait, can you imagine the heaviest thing that you can't lift? Right? Whatever that weight may be. Like you can't pick up a car. Okay, great. We got something. Now imagine, hey, cool frog, how are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well. Now imagine you have a car that you can never move at all, you can never drive at all, and it just stays there, right on your back. And you have to carry that sucker for the rest of your life until some time of forgiveness or whatever, if not at all. Just imagine that kind of weight you have to carry around, and it's invisible, and it's not being seen. Well, I'm glad you were doing well, good sir, and thank you for stopping by. I'm glad to see you and hope you're doing all right. And I've got to get you on going. Yeah, it is. It's going very well. I mean, it's going fantabulous. Uh, I'm repeating the mantra of being successful with this thing and enjoying the ride with other people in hopes to be more successful to bring on more people and see where it goes. Does it mean it'll be perfect? No, but whatever is, whatever is. I'm not here for the perfect. I'm not here to try to get everyone exactly as is. I'm trying to get as many people as possible to come together at this table and say, why can't we have a conversation? Breaking past my own bias, my own fear of course, talking to other people and whatnot, and just seeing where this ride goes. I know I'm getting off a tangent. Cool Frog came in. I'm just reading stuff. But anyway, the sin of killing someone, not on the war scale, not on the self-defense scale, the killing, the burden of killing someone and carrying that with respect. Now, some people, like as I said, psychopaths, so don't care. Some people do, and that burden weighs a heaviness. I'm good at throwing squirrels. Uh, if you can tame them, don't throw them. Use them as an army. Uprise the squirrels, cool frog. Uprise those squirrels. Do it. Murder, not kill. Murder, kill. I mean, there's a life still taken, but the context is dependent on the what, right? It's not of, oh, no murders, no deaths, whatever. There's a context to when we say murder or kill or whatever. There's a context to it. And there are many differences. Again, war, self-defense. Now, the abortion thing is a totally different other matter, but at the end of the day, that's a personal perspective sort of thing. And you kind of take it in stride on your principles, not someone else's principles, not your next door neighbor's principles, unless they, on the same principle. Your principles as not only as a human being, but as someone who's walking through this world until you are dust, gone with the wind, and you got to pass something along the way. I think many are on that regard, but at the end of the day, for those who don't know, you'll never fully get rid of it. It'll never go away. It's always been there. It'll always be there, and it will continue to be there after you're gone. I don't know what to tell you after that. I know a lot of people, mostly Christians, would like to get rid of it, but they won't because not everyone is a Christian. Not everyone has the same thought as them. But imagine, and this is just me painting a picture. Imagine you're able to get someone in a very civil stance, right? Out of just these two people, right? Imagine you're able to get a person who is considered a Christian or calls himself a Christian, and you get someone who is on the abortion side, and you just sit them down, right? You don't really say of what they are. Well, I don't know what his stance is, but at the end of the day, the point of it is that it will always be there. You're not going to get rid of abortion. It's just not a possibility. You're dealing with other human beings. Back to my point. So imagine they don't know too much about each other, right? They don't know what they are. They're just two very people. They're probably both women, right? Because both women. Hey, look, there he is. Actual Jesus came. And you say Jesus' name and he comes in chat. Whenever you hear actual Jesus, there's always someone else in the chat with you. Do you think he'll appear tonight? We'll see. Where was that? But just imagine you have these two people. They both give their description what they're. I'm for abortion. I'm against abortion. All that stuff. You have these two people. They know nothing about each other. Now the information is omitted, sure, but we're trying to break off the bias factor. We're trying to get at the root of what their thoughts are for this thing, right? And we want them to be able to talk to each other about that. So you start off the conversation with something as simple as like, oh, what kind of meals do you like? You bring in a common place. What kind of food do you like? If you could go anywhere in the U.S., where would you like to go? And they can talk about the experience, or they can talk about the experience they had of going. Say one went to the Grand Canyon, and say one went to Niagara Falls, and they get to talk. They get to have this conversation. They get to build something here. And then you bring up something like the political stance, right? Like bring up. Oh, there he is. Hey, Abe, how are you doing? Speak of the Lord himself, Abe. Oh, never mind. You're a hoot, Abe. You're a hoot. Don't change. But just imagine you're able to bring these people together. You don't admit any of the information that is what's going to be the point. You'd rather keep that off the side until the point comes. You have them talk about whatever. You have them talk about silly stuff, right? You have them build this little thing, right? They don't know too much about each other or whatever, or not showing signs of craziness or whatever. And then all of a sudden you bring in the thing that could break the camel's back, right? Could break the camel's back. Once for abortion, once again. So you bring up that thing and they explain their sides. But instead of yelling and screaming and all this stuff, they're not. And they give their perspective on it. Like, I'm a Christian woman. I believe all life is sacred. And of course they get to dilute that, right? They don't get to dilute it, that they get to purify it. Purify the thought to its purest form. And she had said, oh, every life? And so you get to have that back and forth. Now, will there be a sarcastic tone to it? Will there be all this other stuff? Sure. But they're not at the point of yelling yet. Now, just imagine they go through an hour or so slightly debating, conversing back and forth, not debating, but conversing back and forth about this thing, abortion. And at the end of it, they have a better understanding of each other. They don't leave on an agreement, they don't have to, but they leave on a better understanding of each other. And if they shake hands, not saying they will, and I don't think it's silly that women can't shake each other's hands. I mean, that's a rough action. Look, it's a saying. It's a saying, Abe. Come on. Just like with you and your English sayings over there. Sitting in English garden waiting for the sun. I know that one. But just imagine. They're not arguing with each other, not yelling at each other. They're talking about the subject matter, right? After all this discussion about certain things here and there or whatnot. And then all of a sudden, they walk away. They may or may not shake hands. If they don't, that's fine. But if they do, you've just seen something incredible happen. Doesn't mean they'll always agree with each other. Doesn't mean that they'll come back and the conversation will be same. But they have a better understanding of each other. That is the step that I feel may change the circumstances. Does it mean I'm right? No. Does it mean I'll ever be right? Sure. But just imagine for a moment that instead of yelling, instead of screaming, instead of blatantly throwing out your biases like they are the end all be all, you come to a level of understanding. Again, they may not agree with each other, but at least they didn't do a WWF motion and it went worse. They just had a conversation about their beliefs, their places in the world, all this stuff. And they got to understand just a little better, right? Just a little better. And if the miracle happens that they come back for another round, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Just imagine that. Just imagine the power that holds, the seed that plants. Our sayings, our sayings are usually about how mint we are or used to be. I don't know what that means. See, that's how English you are. I don't know what that means. What does it mean about being mint? I don't know. I don't think I ever will. But that's just a thought. That's just the image I propose. Will it happen? I don't know. But I do think sometimes you have to omit the bias in order to get to the point where you can sit down and have a conversation. Yes, a Christian may agree all life is sacred, and they may never agree on the abortion factor. But just think, they came and sat down with someone who they consider the enemy, and they got to find out why they think that way. They got their perspective on that why. And the person who was all abortions, right? The person who was all abortions got the perspective of the Christian, whether they're atheist or whatever, it doesn't matter. They may never agree with that Christian, but they got the perspective on it. And they say, maybe there's something I agree with about that. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just disagree with it all. But they were able to walk away without either yelling or screaming or being some upset psycho freak you see all the time on the news. Just imagine. Just imagine what that could broker. Because either end wants the extreme. You're never going to get the supposed one end or the other. If you did, this world will be a lot different place. And I'm here to tell you right now, it's not pretty. But coming to the middle, shouldn't that be our goal? Shouldn't having a conversation to get to the center, even slightly off center, be the instrument? I'm not saying I'm going to agree with the abortion factor, but I'm not going to say you're going to be able to get rid of the abortion factor. I'm going to look at the realistic thing that, yes, is sad. One MAGA order. I don't know what that means. One MAGA order? Maybe. But just imagine for a moment we're able to have that conversation, get past our biases. I know there are a lot of Vice and all those things that try to do something similar or whatever, but I'd rather not have something that is uh, on that scale. I'd rather just have something where two people on either end of the extremes, come talk to each other, and they don't even talk about that. Yeah, I can agree to that. Everything in life is a trade-off, even life itself. And that's something to that I can agree on, to the basis of everything in life is a trade-off. Yes, there are trade-offs. Unfortunately, not all of them are equal. But then again, life is never about being equal. You'll never be equal. It'll never be fair. But we use these words in conjunction with saying, because we falsely believe it'll be equal. We falsely believe it'll be fair, but it never will. Because if fair exists, why isn't it fair that I don't get to live as long as I want to? Hey, there he is. Oh, come on down there. Goodness sake, it's like a party. Hold him down. You know what? To have the conversation, have the middle ground, you kind of need to destroy the both extremes. But will you? Don't know. The results are yet unclear. But yeah, I just think it's kind of interesting where we keep using these words equal and fair when we got to realize nothing of it exists. Sowell's paid opposition. Well, I mean, okay, I guess I don't know much about him other than he's spoken economy stuff. I think this Jesus fellow may be a bit of a troll. Well, you know what? Tell him to repent. Oh my goodness, guys. But anyway, I think that's where we're going to end it for the night. Yeah, I know I get in some deep stuff, but at the end of the day, I do think there needs to be a time where we stop going to this extreme route or believed extremes and start realizing, you know what? Life isn't fair. Life is unequal, but I'll enjoy it anyway. So before like Fox News is paid opposition. Look, well, that's a different thing. One's a private broadcasting company, and one's I think a scholar at a college, or a professor. Is he a professor or a scholar? I don't know. I don't know much about him. So, unfortunately, at there again is where I will end it for tonight. Again, my guests couldn't come. They had the C-19 or COVID, as it were, and both, I think. Really? I don't know. You tell me. I know he's written books. I know he's a scholar or professor, but who? But that's neither here nor there. The point of the matter is we're all able to come to this conversation, come to the table and have a conversation, maybe break bread, who knows. But at the end of the day, I'm not here to bring an iron hammer to everyone's heads, or silver hammer. A Beatle fan, I know. To everyone's heads and say, my way is right and your way is wrong. No, I'm here to converse and ask the why. Peace. Peace. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Cool Frog. But anyway, before you go, guys, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, following, leaving a comment, one of it, all of it, doesn't matter. Any help with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because one, I get to have more people on. More people on you may agree with, may disagree with, doesn't matter. And that will lead to being seen more. to having a great time just discussing about whatever. And just when it comes to those important points, or at least believe important points, we can sit down and not rip each other's heads off and just, no. Any help with engagement is much appreciated. And of course, if you'd like to see where my other stuff is at, or like the links to where I'm at, or if you'd like to come on, down in the description below is a link to my link tree. It's a link to a website to a link tree. So, yes, any help with the engagement factor is much appreciated. And of course, going to my uh, link and finding my other stuff, finding where I. And if you don't want to do that, hey, leave a comment in either YouTube or Rumble, and we can get started. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end it for the night. I know I'm always right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, Mr. Big Shot. Okay, Mr. Big Shot. I want you Kamehameha right out here. Yeah, I know you're all right, Squash. Great show. Oh, thank you, Cool Frog. I try my best. I'm successful where I can be. Yes. Or yes, or my link down in the description below. Those work too. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, guys, um, tomorrow, tomorrow at 5 p.m. I will have on Hane Yamasan. He is a guest on Tombi's Chinwag. Oh no, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all. You guys make it more fun when there's a raid. I don't think I'm receiving one. You guys make it more fun. And having people in chat. But anyway, 5 p.m. Eastern, because he is in the UK, I believe. 5 p.m. Eastern. What is it? 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with Hana Yamasan. He is a. I think I remember how to do it. I haven't tried it in a while. He is a guest. I think he makes his own content, but he's a guest on the Chinwag with Tombi, and I'm grateful to have him on. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. And again, guys, free flowing conversation. Where we go, heaven knows. And that's the fun of it. That's the mystery of it, but that's the fun of it. Anyway, guys, you already know. And I'll try it. So it's like slash raid, I think it was. Live stream URL. Oh, it's only web only. I have to go find somebody's URL. Hold on. I'm on. Let's go. Who should I'm just gonna choose someone from my list. Who's live? You know what? Let's go to Eggman. Is this thing not live? Uh-oh. Something's wrong with his Rumble slide. Oop. Ew. Always fails the first try for the most. I'd raid myself, but I don't think I want to do that. Yes. You know what? All right, I got somebody. We'll surprise him. Getting boned. Oh dear goodness, Chad, don't write it like that. Thank you, Maskin. I hope you see you guys all tomorrow. Again, as always. Where is that? All right. As always, one day with you. Bye, Pogo. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern with Hana Yamasan. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for being here. Have a great night. Bye, guys.